We're going to keep the baseball conversation going as we welcome in Ryan Flannery, head coach of Cedar Creek High School. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, Sully. How are you?
What's happening, man?
Not much. Just got done. Still practicing, but just got done a little lift. Now we're heading out to the field to get a little practice in.
Oh, I don't feel too bad dragging you away from the practice. Then let the assistant coaches handle that, right?
That's right. That's what they're there for.
So talk to us about the Pirates, man. This team, you've been playing pretty well for a lot of the season. You were kind of knocking heads against some of those really good teams in the Cal National, like Absegami, Ocean City, and Mainland. So you battle-tested, and you come into this tournament as the number 6 seed, and now you're all the way into the semifinals up against West Deptford on Tuesday. I was there at your game on Thursday when you beat Delran, and really – dominating performance by Luke Vax. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know about this kid, but really one of the top pitchers in the league.
Yeah, Luke has been doing this all year for us. Every time he steps out on the bump, we feel confident that we can compete with any team in South Jersey. The issue, that we've been having, and we've been battle tested, but we just need to be consistent with our approaches and showing up ready to work each game, not just when he's on the mound, but when all our other guys are out there too.
And you've made some moves around the diamond that have really helped solidify that defense. Stephen Kainsey coming in the infield is playing shortstop and kind of scooted Hageman over to third. Brady at second. So you've kind of solidified that infield. Obviously, Russell Reek in the outfield can chase him down. And I'm going to say this name right, Dan Giovanantonio. I think I got it right.
Yeah, that's close enough.
At catcher, man, that kid, as a sophomore, to have that kind of size and strength. I mean, the kid's about 6'3", 6'4", can throw it, and did a great job blocking balls on Thursday against Delran. That kind of a far backstop there, and really put his body on the line to keep runners in check. So really, the infield becoming solidified, I think, is one of the big keys for your success recently.
Yeah, just talk about Dan. Dan's a worker for us behind the dish, and he's a guy that you root for. He definitely shows up every day, ready to work. But we've had some injuries earlier in the year, and we're kind of just getting our infield solidified now. As you mentioned, we had some guys playing out of position, and knowing the baseball guys and how that works, it always seemed like the ball was hit to the person that was playing out of position. So now that we got guys solidified in their position and getting reps continuously at their spots, our defense has been shored up the last couple games.
Yeah, I got to believe Dan's old man is tough on him. Guy that's been in the military for a couple decades. So no excuses in that household, right?
No. He like I said, he comes ready to work all day. There's never an issue with him. So he's a guy that's easy to root for as well.
And he's got a brother on the team as well, Luke. So good baseball family to have around for the next couple of years.
Yes. We're excited. We're excited about Luke's future as well.
So, Coach, coming into this sectional playoff, I mean, when you look at the teams on paper, you guys definitely have one of the best pitching staffs in this section. We talked about Luke Vax and David Hageman and Brady as well, and also Kainsey coming in as reliever. He kind of cleaned up the last couple outs on Thursday when Vax hit his pitch limit. And, man, there was no drop-off with that kid either.
Yeah, now Steven last year, he was our number one last year. He started our opening round playoff game. He's been in and out of the lineup with some injuries, but he's another guy that we trust tremendously. Anytime he's on the mound, we know that he's going to throw strikes. He's a crafty guy. He's not going to blow you away with speed like Luke does, but he hits spots and he knows how to pitch to hitters and knows how to get outs. With him on the mound, it's our defense. We know they're going to put the ball in play. He's not really a strikeout pitcher, but they're going to put the ball in play, so we just got to shore up our defense when he's on the mound and get outs.
Coach, how did you go about becoming a better defensive team throughout the season? Because early in the season, you guys maybe kind of threw away a couple of games with 3, 4, sometimes 5 errors. The defense kind of fell apart on you a little bit here and there. How did you go about rectifying that? It's a process throughout the season to become a better defensive player at each position. So what kind of things did you do specifically to really say, hey, guys, we need to field the ball. We got this really good pitching, but it doesn't matter if we're not going to catch the ball.
Right, and that we've had that conversation, multiple times. And to be honest, it starts with reps in practice, but it starts with reps in the game. You can't simulate game reps. And I think a lot of it was due to, some of those guys being in those pressure situations their first year starting, and they just weren't ready for the moment. I think as the season has gone on, they've become more comfortable in the moment and fielding those balls. So I just think it's obviously getting reps at practice, but it's reps in the game that really transition.
Hey, Coach, I don't think a lot of people realize this. Not a lot of seniors on this team, only a handful. So a lot of these guys are very young players. Like you said, some of them first-year varsity guys. So that can be a little intimidating when you go from the JV level to all of a sudden guys are hitting seeds at you all over the field.
Yeah, exactly, and I think a lot of that was really it. We have 2 seniors on the roster, so again, a lot of these guys are getting a lot of first-year varsity experience. And as a coach, and I guess coaches listening, there's something about seniors when you have good senior leaders that really carry a team, and only having 2, it's tough and it's a big load, but. Moving forward to next year, we'll have a handful of seniors, so we're excited about next year as well.
Coach, I remember way back in the 80s when I was a sophomore shortstop, got called up to varsity for a couple games, and I was thinking to myself, man, the ground balls come at you a lot faster on varsity.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, they're definitely bigger and stronger up at the varsity level. So it just takes reps and game experience to kind of get you comfortable, and then again go along with the mental stability too, to be able to trust yourself and to believe in your ability as a player to make those plays.
Yeah, you think you're a hot shot on JV making all the plays. You come up to varsity, you're like, okay, this is a different level.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
We're talking with Cedar Creek baseball coach Ryan Flannery, and Coach, your guys have kind of adopted the dark horse moniker that Kevin Minnick put on you guys for his preseason or his postseason previews, and kind of a fun thing. You guys have kind of ran with that, and like we were talking about on Thursday, you said this team need a little bit of juice coming into the playoffs. We're a little bit flat late in the season, and let them go, let them have some fun, right?
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. It wasn't taking a shot at anyone like that. It was just kind of embracing what we were, and I think that was a perfect label for us as a dark horse, because we talked about our pitching and we talked about how we played with some best teams in South Jersey, but we consistently didn't do it. So I think the dark horse was a perfect label for us. But yeah, like we said on Thursday, we just needed a little energy in the dugout. We scheduled Triton on Thursday before the playoffs, and we were up 3-0 in the third, and it just felt like our dugout, we were dead. We didn't have the energy. So when we got the preview out and we saw that we were the dark horse, it just kind of came in our coach's minds like, hey, let's just do this. I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know if the kids are going to buy into it, but we'll give it a shot. And right before the first playoff game, I put them all behind the dugout, and I had our man Tony, the jockey, giddy on the pony on out behind the dugout, and all the kids started going crazy. And from then, it's been our logo for going forward.
Coach, how fun is that when the kids start believing in themselves? They get on a little bit of a run in the postseason. You're seeing that with Egg Harbor Township, some other teams, and it must be exciting to be a coach playing this time of year. A lot of teams, their season's over. You guys still have a whole another weekend of practice, and who knows what's going to happen from here on out. But just to be on a little ride and get some confidence, get some notoriety to this program, it's got to be a great feeling this weekend. I mean, these guys are all jazzed up. They can't wait for Tuesday.
Oh yeah, no, it's great to be playing baseball through Memorial Day weekend. That's kind of the goal you start with in the beginning of the season. So we're excited. We are definitely enjoying the moment. We're not being overwhelmed by it, because we know that we got to get back to work. We're playing a very good West Everett team that has been there before, that understands the moment. This is uncharted territory for the Cedar Creek Pirates, so we need to make sure we are ready to go, and the moment's not too big for us.
Have you gotten any advice from Coach Watson?
Coach, I'm on staff with him with football as well, so
Yep.
I kind of do my best Watson impersonation and trying to get the kids to believe in themselves, and that's pretty what it's all about. We actually are the dark horse. His name is Mo for momentum, so we try to steal that momentum in the dugout, and that's. You're talking about with Egg Harbor Township and believing, and they're the 15 or 16 seed. You just need to get in, and then once the kids buy in and they kind of see success, they kind of just feed off the momentum. And any sport that you play in high school, the momentum is a huge, huge factor. So if we feel like we can steal that momentum with the dark horse, we'll try to take every advantage we can get.
How much does that help, Coach, real quick before we let you go? You've been a part of that football staff that's been in championship moments, won state championships, so you know what it's like to be in that moment, but these kids really don't. So how do you kind of prepare them for that moment on Tuesday when they're going to be playing probably the biggest game of their lives? And you've seen it at the football level. Coach Watson does a great job getting these guys prepared for those football championships. So what do you take away from that situation and bring it over to the baseball field?
Yeah, you know what? We just tell kids just to stay in their routine. It's at the end of the day, it's a baseball game. You're playing with some of the best friends you grew up with since you were little, and just keep the routine. Don't let the media attention or don't let Facebook and Twitter and all that other stuff, people picking you to lose, get involved of your pregame, your routine. So we kind of just adopted that, and then. Just go play the game. It's at the end of the day, you got to go out and you got to field the ball, you got to catch the ball, and you got to hit the ball.
Well, I'm sure the players and fans are liking the Glory Days coverage. I'm sure they think they get overlooked a lot, but yeah, no, Sully, we appreciate everything that you do for not only Cedar Creek but every South Jersey team around here. It's awesome being able to do a show like this and just kind of represent the school that we coach for. It's definitely an awesome thing. We appreciate everything you do for South Jersey. I'll tell you what, it's fun as a reporter when you kind of start following one of these teams that makes a playoff run, and you get more exposure to the kids than you might normally have during a regular season, and you kind of get to know some of their personalities and stuff. So it's really cool from our perspective, guys like me and Mike and Kevin, and we get to kind of say, oh, okay, who's that right fielder again? Yeah, and now you start knowing that kid and you start following his career. So it is a cool thing when you get to this point where you're playing big games and you get to see some of the parents and stuff like that. It just becomes a really fun thing to kind of follow a team through the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's why we do it, to have fun and have the kids enjoy themselves and to play the game that they loved ever since they were little growing up.
Appreciate it, Coach. I know you got to get back to work. Thanks for taking a few minutes, and good luck on Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Sully. Thanks for having me.
You got it, man.